Hey everybody, I thought I would do another update because thankfully some of you have commented on my latest video about my sister's, I'm assuming brother too, put my mom into a nursing home. And I appreciate that because I don't know how that all works. So, but one of you commented that like if my sisters wanted to steal the assets and everything, the house and all that, they have to do that 5 years before they go into the nursing home, which I can see where that would be sketchy. I could see where, whoever is in charge of taking money to pay for said nursing home is like, oh, seems funny that you got into their account right before you stuck them in the nursing home. So I guess 5 years makes sense to have like the countdown versus just right away. So with that said, I don't know how you can find out if the house was sold, when it was sold. I'm sure it'd have to be a realtor to have access to that kind of stuff. But I was talking about this to this one lady that I was cleaning for, and she's like, you could do one thing. Why don't you call your mom's home phone number? And if it's disconnected, that should tell you something. So I've been afraid to call, period. So, and I don't know, I know there's an app that you can call from another thing or whatever, and I didn't want to do all that. So I asked my husband, like, do you feel like calling my mom's home phone number? Just kind of curious, is it still around? Because that phone number's been around since we moved into that house when I was 3, okay, and I'm 53 years old, so that phone number's been around for 50 years. I mean, she doesn't change her phone number, and plus she always had my dad's voice still on the voicemail, even though he passed away like 19 years ago or 20 years ago. So I know it wouldn't have been my mom disconnected this phone number. Like, because she had a cell phone too, but she still had that landline, and she's old school, and she's, 83 years old, so I know, or going to be 83. So I know that she wouldn't have done that. I know for sure she wouldn't have done that. She liked to hear my dad's voice still in the voicemail thing. And she still is like old school. That's what we have is a landline. I even hear Bill Handel on KFI talk about that. Landlines are good because if anything should happen and all our cell services go out, you still have that landline. So anyway, long story short, I know I talk a lot. My husband called the phone number and it was disconnected. So I was like, holy crap. Wow. So there's that. The phone number is no longer. And then I guess they confiscate the cell phones and stuff when they go into those homes, because, again, I haven't heard anything from her. She normally harasses me at some point. And I looked it up on Zillow because I thought, well, I'm just kind of curious how much this house is worth, because they bought it for $28,000 back in 75, I guess, because they had a different house, and then they moved to this house when I was 3. So on Zillow it says off the market, but that doesn't really mean anything, because if it got sold 5 years ago, it's off the market, It was worth over $1 million. So I'm like, oh my God. And she supposedly said at one point, when I was still back in California and I was still talking to them, she was like, I'm going to will the house to you. Because it's weird how Orange County people think. Not everybody, but most, at least the rich ones, or people that aren't, have actual problems in their life. She was saying, because I lived in a condo, okay, I lived in Yorba Linda. Yorba Linda is like a stuck-up little Stepford wife town, okay? And my condo, I looked that up too, was like worth $784,000. I'm like, oh my God, I could have sold it for that much. Okay, anyway, because I owned a condo, I was poor, so she felt sorry for me, because everyone else had a house. I was like, okay, well, whatever. If you feel sorry for me, I'm like, okay, so that's weird. But all the same, like, I don't know if she actually wrote it. I never saw her will. See, I'm not that greedy. I don't sit there looking. This is all about the principle of the matter. It's not about really the money, because I know I'm not going to get it. It's just the principle of how evil people can be when it comes down to money. It's like, oh my God, really? So I told her back then, because I remember I was standing in the dining room area, and I said, I'm thinking to myself, like, I don't want this big house. Like, it's nice, but it's old and it's a lot of work. And I lived in a condo with an association. I don't have to take care of the yards and the swimming pool and all that stuff. she did not have an association because it's an older home. And it seemed like a lot of work, So I wasn't really that interested in it anyway, but I didn't say that. All I said was, blah, blah, blah. Both my sisters are going to take everything. Like, I knew that long time ago. See, this is like history repeating itself, because when my dad had 2 sisters too, and he fled to California from back east, and when his mom died, because his dad died long ago, when his mom died, his 2 sisters took everything. Like, he couldn't even have his own toys from when he was a child. Like, that's how greedy they were. And guess what he did? He's cut his ties with them. He never talked to them again. I guess he ended up talking to the baby sister later in life, because she ended up coming out here for my sister's wedding, and then he passed away. She was with him. He died of a heart attack 2 days before my sister got married, and I have a whole vlog on that, because quick story, she still went on with her wedding, which I didn't think, I didn't know what to think with that situation, but I didn't have any judgment on that. It was just sad because he wasn't even married yet, and I had a baby shower. Like, I was pregnant. I was having a baby shower like a month and a half after he passed away, and I was being insensitive. I was like, what the hell? I can't help that my baby's gonna be born. No, he died in July. My daughter was born in October, and I had the baby shower like late August, early September. But I was being insensitive to my dad's death for having a baby shower. I'm like, that makes no sense. My sisters make all sorts of things up just to create issues. Like, they always have to justify some weird shit, and then they team up and then they go together on it and say stuff. And then I feel like, I guess I'm wrong, and it's so stupid. That's why I don't like talking to them. Anyway, so this person, the subscriber, mentioned about the 5-year thing, and I thought, oh my God. When my brother died, that money he put away was he gave it, transferred to my mom, and it was under her name. So it was like some kind of an account, mutual account. I don't know what it was, because again, they don't tell me anything. They don't even tell me. All I knew it was $50,000 back then, because either my brother said something before he died, or my sister said something because she thought she should have more because she flew out a lot to see him when he was dying. Well, guess what? She's a flight attendant. So yeah, you can fly out a lot easier than the rest of us. So whatever. Anyway. Well, when I moved out here, it was in 2019. And it was kind of weird because, again, I don't have access to that money from my brother. But for some reason, my sisters got a hold of that money, like as if I was going to take it. I don't understand. It made no sense to me, but it's starting to the pieces are coming together. I can't stand unsolved mysteries, and I get really just curious, and I can't sleep not knowing the truth or the closure of stuff. It's really hard to just go, well, I guess it is what it is. The let them theory is it's helping me to do that, because it's really hard to do that. But anyway, I'm starting to realize that things are coming to my head in my, just being, how, God will show signs in your direction, and, just listen to him, and it seems like being silent, you can hear him more. Well, things are coming to my head like, hey, lay low, the answers will come. So all of a sudden, the subscriber, thank you again for telling me that, it dawned on me like a light bulb came on, like, holy crap. It was a little over 5 years ago when my sisters all of a sudden got into my brother's money that was under my mom's name, and they took their share. I don't know. I'm assuming they took the whole thing and split it between the two of them. But I remember because for some reason my Narcissist, probably by law, she had reached out and she had left a voicemail on my phone because I had it blocked, and it said, I need to have your kids' full names and birth dates for this money, whatever. And I thought, she doesn't know their names and birth dates at first, I thought. And then I'm like, okay. So I had my husband, text her back with all the information. And then she had said, they can get the money when they're 18 and in college, or 25. Okay, well, now they are 19 and 21 in college, and they're not still getting the money. And that's when my cousin said, well, now they're saying you're not going to get it till your mom dies. Okay. So now, let's fast forward now. So what's going to happen is, if there is my share, because legally maybe they have to keep my share in the account, it's going to be depleted by paying for my mom's nursing home. That's what they did on purpose. So be it. My contribution, I guess. But fucked up. That's my kids' money. You could take my inheritance that you're already taking and have that pay for her nursing care. Don't take my kids' money. That's not cool. And it makes sense. I'm like, oh my God, they're calculated. So they probably, because I know my mom did not go in her own free will to this nursing home. I know it. I don't know how it went down, but my thoughts, and it wouldn't surprise me, is if me, because she's pretty, she acts dumb sometimes, but she's pretty smart. You could never scam her. Like, no one could go, oh, how they get those phone calls, oh, it's your, grandson, I'm in jail, you got to pay me, blah, 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 and they run off and go wire some money to them. My mom would never do that. She's too cheap, and she hoards her money. There's no way in hell she would. So she knows the red flags when she's being, scammed and or, ripped off, or, whatever. I can't even think of words right now. My thoughts of what happened is that maybe they said, oh, let's just say we're going to take her out to a nice dinner. So she gets in the car, right, to get her out of the house, because she's probably getting sketchy vibes, right? And she falls for it, and then they, whoop, look at here, look where you're at. I don't know. Do they, like psych wards, if, I know this because I have a child who's been in one a couple times. So I've got my own issues I don't talk about. But they will, like, as a parent, and you have a minor, and they go to the psych ward, they have a hold on your kid. They'll put a 5150 on them, and you can't take them home. Trust me, I can tell you by experience, they own them. And so I'm wondering if that happens with nursing homes. If you could say, my mom's incapacitated, can they just take her away? Can the cops come to the house and just take her away? Because Wendy Williams, I don't know if you guys watched the Celebrity Gossip or not, but she was incapacitated to some nursing home. And I think she finally got freed from it. But I'm like, how the hell did she get in there? Who claimed she had dementia? Her son? Like, I forgot how that one all went down. But she's sitting there, like, completely fine and saying, get me out of this house. And it looked like she was in a jail. She's trying to talk to, like, good Lord, with this freaking street. I swear, Vegas is like construction zone all the time. These construction cones are like state flowers, is what they say, and they're not joking. Anyway, so I'm wondering if that happened with my mom. Yeah, I know my cousins were claiming dementia anyway, and so I don't know if she went downhill real quick or what, but I don't know how you can, like, force that. But then again, my brother-in-law is a shyster. He's got connections. It wouldn't surprise me. So they're acting like they're these loving daughters. My narc sister, I remember her telling me a few times, like when it came to Mother's Day, she's like, I have a really hard time giving her a card saying Happy Mother's Day, because I don't think she's a good mom. I have fantasy dreams of killing her half the time. Okay, there you go. So they don't like her any more than I do. And they're going to act like they're these loving daughters to my cousins, and I'm the asshole. I'm like, okay, I have to let them. I get it. But then I guess Mel Robbins says, let them and let me. So it's like, you got to put your boundaries on for yourself. You can't just be screwed over. So anyway, I do appreciate your guys' feedback, because it's giving me some insight. I'm very naive. As you can see, I get myself screwed over, because even with my first husband, I let him take my house, and I've looked that up on frickin' Zillow too, and that's also worth a couple $1 million now. It really disgusts me, because I helped him get that damn house. I helped him get out of debt. I'm just not a greedy person. I let people screw me over when it comes to money, because I just don't want to be that kind of person. But I'll be damned if I get effed over. Like, at the same time, I'm like, how is justice going to be served here? Like, really? So by all means, I think that's what's going down. But I think it's not cool that they took my kids' money. Like, again, yeah, that house is supposed to be mine. Well, I don't think it was in the will. I also don't know if they somehow removed me from the will. They got my mom to notarize the change. I don't know, because my narc sister is the executor, and I'm sure they figured out a way to change the will to get me off of it. I don't know if my brother's a part of this, but he has a greedy ass wife that I'm sure she's a Karen, and I kind of hope in some ways that she's going to fight for their share too, because he had said, I don't want any of it, I've got my own money, which they all have their own money, trust me, they all are living large, okay, but I know he's living a little bit more large, but his wife is a greedy ass bitch, because she even said she wanted to marry a rich man in Hawaii. So I'm like, you didn't want to marry my brother, you just wanted to marry a rich man in Hawaii. He just happened to fit the bill. So there you go. And she's very, very expensive, high maintenance person. So, but she never really got along with my sisters as much as me. And so that's, unfortunately, this is how this all went down. Is a long time ago, I trusted her and I told her something that my older sister was saying I was kind of upset about. And then she went and told my brother, who told them, and it became a big deal. And then it all kind of stirred the pot and started planting the seed of all of this. But again, my fault for having talked to her in the first place. I could have just kept it to myself. Just sometimes I want to get things off my chest, and I feel like I can trust people, and I'm an idiot, and I can't. So, thankfully I found some good people in my life out here that I actually can trust, and it doesn't go anywhere. But, yeah. Anyway, so that's the update. Sorry to talk too much. I kind of squirrel around, but this is what I think is going to go down. It would be really cool if I could just lawyer up and get them, because they probably would be freaking surprised, because they know they can screw me over. They've been doing this for years, and they probably just think, we can do whatever we want. She's not going to do anything. What's she going to do? The worst I've ever done to them is not talk to them anymore. Cut my ties. I've cut my ties a few times. This was the final straw. This is the worst I've ever done to them. What they're doing to me is not cool. Like that, you don't F with my finances and my credit or whatever else you're going to try to do. Like, don't do that. I never done anything to you. It's like, really? I stopped talking to you? Why did I stop talking to you? Because you guys were assholes to me. I'm always nice to people. And the only time I'm mean to somebody is if they're mean to me. You've got to be mean to me first before I'm mean to you. I'm not one of those assholes. I'm nice to homeless people. Like, I will just start talking to homeless people. I'm at a casino or something, and some homeless guy is just talking. I'm like, yeah, that's cool. Yay. And then he keeps talking, following me around. And I'm like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that. That's how bad and friendly I am. It's not good. I should have, I should be guarded in some ways. We're like, okay, you know what? No. But I'm just not like that. And then, so there you go. There's that. So thank you guys for listening, not really watching. It's like my drive tour, I guess. I don't put my face on here, and don't I tell you kind of a little bit about me, but not too much, because it's like I try to keep it private on who these people are. But I so want to expose their asses, but I don't know if I could. I don't know. Hopefully other people will see their true colors, because it's really disgusting that no one does, and I'm just like, are you serious right now? I guess I'm not relevant enough for people to have my back, to care, to see their true colors. It's like, you hope they believe me, but they're probably thinking I'm crazy because of what they say about me, the smear campaign, so I'm just kind of at a loss, That's all I got. Comment down below your thoughts, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.